I want to welcome each and every one of you for this lecture. Now, semester 6 students, I want to thank those who have been able to actively participate in the classes, and I hope that this same mentality continues with this new format of learning through videos. Now, we're going to look at what they call masks. Now, masks are one of the tools which are very used and very common in Photoshop. I'm going to take you through 3 different images that I created using masks. So one of them is this first one. This first one was I used what they call a layer mask. Now, a layer mask is one of those types of masks which works on layers. Basically, you're covering a particular area of the layer and leaving the other part of the layer visible. So as you have seen in this image, this lady is visible on this layer. If we use the shift option, it closes the layer. And if you notice that this is the default image. So basically what layers does is, if you grab let's use the default image, let me remove the layer. Let me delete the layer. Delete this. Forgotten to press enter. Delete. And delete this particular layer. Simply dragging it and deleting it. And I switch on this layer. So now let's first work on this lady. Now let's say you want this background to disappear, this white background to disappear from this image. What we do is we can use layers. How? By simply selecting the image. Now if you've noticed, this lady has hair, and selecting the image won't be that easy. So what a very good option to use is through channels. Now channels, basically what happens is, with channels you choose a particular shade of color which works best, which pulls out both the dark areas of the image and the light areas of the image. Now for this image we want to pull out most of the hair, because these other areas are very easy to select, but the hair is not easy to select because it's a dark area. So if we are to choose, this would do a very good job of choosing the whole human being. Or you could go for something darker if you're worried about the hair losing. But I think for me, this would do a very good job. Now, if you've noticed, the hair remains intact. Now, let's make this image slightly dark. Press Ctrl L, then move. It brings up the levels option. So if I move this will darken the hair. If you have noticed, it will darken. The dark regions will become extra dark, and the light regions remain. By clicking this, it becomes extra light. But I want it like this, so I'm okay with it like this. But I made a slight error. I'm supposed to first make a copy of the image, then follow the same procedure, making the hairs dark, but don't over make it too dark that it starts to look this curves and quality. So after doing that, press OK. Now if you hold Control and you click on this copied image, copied channel, this is what happens. A selection would be made. I forgot to unselect this. Let's repeat the whole process. So basically, here what I'm just trying to do is selecting and making sure that my selection is good enough. Copy. After copy, making the selection. First you Control L, move it slightly, then you press Control and make the selection. Then you need to add parts of it to the selection. Now, like let's say this area here, you want it to be part of the selection, so you can use this quick selection option to add some of these areas which were not added to the selection, areas which we need but weren't added. As you can see, it does a good job of selecting the areas because of the image being in a quality which is not that hard for selecting. So after doing this, we go back to the image here, then we choose add layer mask, or you come up here in the layers option, there is layer mask. Then they give you an option of reveal all, hide all, reveal selection, hide selection from transparency. So this basically are just different options of how you want it to do, how you want it to react. So now if you want to create a selection, so this would be the best option, reveal selection. Reason being, you have selected the image of the lady and we want to reveal that only. Apart from that, we don't want the other areas to be revealed. So basically that's what happens. The image of the lady remains intact, the rest disappears, as you have seen. And you observe the nice area around the lady. So basically that's it with layer masks. It's the same thing I did here. Now the next part of the challenge was to create some sort of shadow. So now they look like a shadow, but in actual sense it's not a shadow. Now what I did is this is looking kind of awkward. Let me come in with a option of, by the way, for the different options, remember the control shift and the alt have different options on the different tools. So now for the mask option, it always, if you press control, it will select the image. If you press alt, it will choose the mask over the actual image. If you press alt again, it will bring it back. So it's a brief demo of what you have selected and what is not selected. So it's a very good way of doing that. Then when you press shift, it can disable the selection. It will show you an X. So that is for you to keep in mind. Now I was still telling you that this is an awkward thing. So what we're going to do is get a brush, choose overlay, and make sure it's on. White is things which are viewed. If you have noticed here, white is where the lady is. Black is things which are not viewed. Now, since you want this, because if I press shift, if I press alt, if you've noticed these shades are different of the area which is not being viewed. The shades are different, which is making the image look like this. So if you want to change it by using overlay, because overlay basically the areas which are black, it maintains it as black. It will try to darken it. Areas which are white, it tries to lighten it. Those are things you learned with the blend modes option. So basically click on this, then when I click there, it's on white. That's why it is trying to make the image more white. So if I put it on, if I click X, it changes the color to black. And if you've noticed, when I change it to black, this is what happens. I don't want to do it a lot next to the lady. It may overreact, so I have to be careful. Even if it's not going to disturb the image so much, I don't want to risk it. So as you have noticed, even if I move it around the lady, it doesn't remove anything. But if you put it to normal, observe what happens when you're in the normal option. This is what happens in a normal option. But if basically it doesn't interact with the layers, but if you put overlay, it studies and knows that this is a black area and this is the white area. So if you chose the black here, to always shade on the black area. If you chose white, it will do the same. It's like light. Light is viewed on white surface. I mean, white is represented as light, then black is represented as darkness. So it's the same thing with Photoshop. The white area is the area which is viewed, and the dark area is the area which is not viewed. So this is how layer masks are used. So I was still telling you, if you want to make such an effect, how do you do it? Now, first to do that, basically what I'll do is I'll get a background. Let me choose a color fill option, something like this. Let me just duplicate it, since, or you can just go to the adjustment layers, solid color, to do the same thing and choose a color of your interest. Say yes. Now, since you have done that, let me remove this mask. I'll simply copy this mask from up here just by pressing Alt, then dragging it. If you see, when I drag it, it gives me like 2 double cursors to ensure that it's going to create a layer mask. Then I let go. So by simply doing that, I've created the layer mask. I've copied the layer mask. Now, to move this image, it's very simple. Control T as usual, and you move it, and that's it. That's generally what I did for this image. As you can see, it's not something very technically difficult. So basically, that's it for layer masks. If you've learned how to do this, I'm sure you can explore more things with it. Though the things you have to remember about the layer masks is, black is the area which is not viewed, white is the area which is viewed. And you remember the control Alt and Shift options. So if you press Alt, you need to know what happens. Alt is, it will show the different colors, the mask. But one thing I've not yet shown you is, if you press Control Shift I, Control I, it's Control I, and then you press Control I, basically what happens is it inverts. It's an invert option, meaning the area which is black will become white, and the area which was white, it will become black. So if you press Control I, that's what happens. Let's put it back to the original. Control I, and we Alt, put it back. If you press Control I again, let's see what happens. So basically, that's it. Another key things to remember is, black is area which is not being viewed. White is area which is being viewed. So if you know that, then you can play around with layer masks as much as you want, and you can use the brush tool, as you have seen how I've used the brush tool to manipulate it in different ways. As you can see, this is black, so if I change it to white, normal, I can create as you can see, it's reacting, but I don't have a particular background image, so I'm not seeing the result. So let me create a background for it. So let's do this. Yes, let me create a mask for this and press Ctrl I. since it was on reveal all. Now I want it to not reveal also. And I press X. I see what's happening. I increase this. Let's see how nice it is. By here changing something small like that, I've been able to achieve something of that kind. Can even change the shape. Shapes is the next thing I'm going to show you soon. So basically that's it. Thank you for watching.